The autumn fog curled around Fort Bridgewater Military Base like a silver serpent, concealing possibilities and dangers alike. Colonel Sophia Westbrook adjusted her formal dress uniform as she approached the command center, her footsteps echoing across the polished marble of the courtyard in the early morning stillness. The building displayed no special markings to indicate today's significance, only the standard military insignia etched in bronze above the entrance. This understated approach was deliberate. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. At 42, Sophia had dedicated 17 years to rising through the ranks of strategic command operations, securing her role as the military's foremost tactical systems specialist through unwavering expertise and an almost supernatural ability to maintain composure during crisis. Today's assignment was pivotal, assuming command of the prestigious 7th Tactical Division following a confidential Pentagon decision that bypassed traditional announcement protocols. She had submitted her credentials and transfer documents at 0400 hours, embedding them within classified channels where only those with proper security clearance would access them. The transition demanded discretion. Too many previous leadership changes had been compromised by political maneuvering and media speculation that undermined operational integrity from day one. As Sophia approached the secured entrance, she presented her standard military ID rather than her new command authorization. The transition wouldn't be officially announced until the 0900 hours assembly, giving her a crucial window to observe the division's authentic operational patterns without the artificial performance that typically accompanied a new commander's arrival. Visiting officer clearance only, the guard noted, scanning her basic credentials without accessing her complete file. Purpose of visit? Strategic systems consultation, Sophia replied, her voice measured and calm. I'm expected at the command briefing. The guard nodded, processing her standard clearance without further scrutiny. This was precisely the protocol gap Sophia had anticipated. The system recognized her military status, but not her actual authority level, creating the perfect opportunity to evaluate the command structure from within before revealing her true position. She entered the main complex, navigating corridors with confident familiarity despite never having physically visited this installation. Years of studying facility blueprints and operational layouts had prepared her for this moment. The command center buzzed with pre-briefing activity, officers reviewing reports, technicians calibrating systems, administrative staff coordinating the day's objectives. Sophia positioned herself near the tactical display console, observing the team dynamics with practiced subtlety. No one questioned her presence. Her uniform and demeanor projected belonging, even as she remained effectively invisible to the operational hierarchy around her. Everything proceeded according to standard protocol, precisely as she had expected. But as she reviewed the tactical readiness reports displayed on the nearest monitor, the atmosphere shifted perceptibly. A commanding voice cut through the professional murmur of the command center, causing an immediate ripple of tension across the room. Attention! Someone called, and the entire room stiffened in unison. The source of the disruption materialized. Through the main doorway, Brigadier General Victor Hargrove, current commander of the 7th Tactical Division. At 57, Hargrove carried himself with the rigid posture of someone who demanded respect rather than earned it. His uniform displayed an excessive array of commendations, and his steel-gray hair was cut with military precision. Every aspect of his appearance was calculated to intimidate. Sophia had reviewed his personnel file extensively. 29 years of service, decorated combat experience, and a leadership style that military psychologists had diplomatically labeled as traditional authoritarian. Less officially, his reputation for public dressing downs and ego-driven decision-making had reached even her previous command post, 3,000 miles away. Hargrove strode into the center of the room, his cold gaze sweeping across the assembled personnel like searchlights seeking infractions. His expression soured when he spotted an unfamiliar officer, Sophia, standing near his tactical displays. Who authorized civilian observation of restricted tactical systems? He demanded, directing his question to the room at large rather than addressing Sophia directly. A junior officer stepped forward nervously. "Sir, she's not a civilian. Her credentials cleared security protocols for the command briefing." Hargrove approached with the confidence of someone unaccustomed to being questioned. He stopped directly in front of Sophia, examining her uniform with exaggerated scrutiny, his eyes deliberately avoiding meeting hers, a psychological tactic designed to establish dominance. "Credentials," he stated flatly, extending his hand. With palm upturned, Sophia observed his body language, noting the performative nature of his authority display. She reached inside her uniform jacket and retrieved her standard identification folio, not the command authorization that would reveal her new position. The distinction was important. This interaction would establish baseline behavioral patterns critical to her evaluation. "Colonel Sophia Westbrook, Strategic Systems Division," she stated calmly, her voice neither challenging nor submissive. Hargrove barely glanced at the identification before his expression hardened with dismissive contempt. Strategic Systems? Another Pentagon consultant with theories, but no practical experience. He returned the credentials with visible distaste. "This is an operational command center, Colonel, not a think tank. Your clearance may get you through the door, but it doesn't authorize access to active tactical displays." Preparing and narrating. This story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The room had gone completely silent. 23 officers and technical specialists froze in place, their attention locked on the confrontation unfolding before them. None intervened. Hargrove's authority within this space remained absolute until 0900 hours. "The tactical overview is essential to my assessment, General," Sophia replied evenly, her composure undisturbed by his obvious attempt at public humiliation. Hargrove's eyebrows rose fractionally. He had expected immediate deference, not composed reasoning. His voice lowered to a dangerous register. "Your assessment? Let me be abundantly clear, Colonel. I don't care what authorization you think you have or which administrative pencil pusher sent you. The 7th Tactical Division operates under my command, and I determine what's essential." He stepped closer, invading her personal space with deliberate intent. "Nothing happens in this command center without my explicit approval. Is that understood?" Sophia maintained perfect posture, her expression neutral but attentive. She didn't step back, didn't challenge, didn't defend. She simply observed with the focused awareness of someone gathering important data. Her silence was not submission, but calculation. The general interpreted her non-reaction as defiance. His voice rose, ensuring everyone present would witness the display of authority. "Perhaps Strategic Systems doesn't emphasize protocol, Colonel, but in operational divisions, officers respond when addressed by superior officers." "I understand your position, General," Sophia replied, each word measured and precise. "My position?" Hargrove's laugh was sharp and dismissive. "My position as commanding officer of the most decorated tactical division in the entire military. Your position is an uninvited observer who has overstepped her boundaries." He turned to the communications officer nearby. "Lieutenant Daniels, escort Colonel Westbrook to the visitor briefing room. She can wait there until the general briefing begins." His eyes returned to Sophia, cold and dismissive. "That's where consultants belong, away from operational systems they don't understand." Lieutenant Daniels approached hesitantly, clearly uncomfortable with the assignment. "Sir, the briefing room is currently being prepared for." Did "I asked for commentary, Lieutenant." Hargrove snapped, "No, sir." The lieutenant stood at attention, his discomfort visible but his training overriding personal judgment. Sophia made the strategic decision to comply. This public confrontation was providing valuable insight into command dynamics, precisely the unfiltered reality she had come to observe. "The briefing room will be fine, Lieutenant," she said, her calm tone offering subtle reassurance to the young officer caught in an uncomfortable position. As she gathered her portfolio, Hargrove addressed the room at large. "Let this be instructive to all officers present. Chain of command exists for a reason. When Pentagon theorists without field experience start interfering with tactical operations, mission effectiveness suffers. We maintain standards here." The commander's eyes swept the room, ensuring his message had registered with everyone present. No one spoke, no one moved. His authority demonstration had achieved its intended effect, reinforcing his absolute control over this environment. As Lieutenant Daniels led Sophia toward the exit, Hargrove called after them, "And Colonel, next time you visit an operational command, remember you're a guest in someone else's house. Protocol matters here." The lieutenant maintained professional silence until they were safely in the corridor outside the command center. Once the doors closed behind them, he exhaled visibly. "I apologize for the generals." "Directness, Colonel," he said quietly, glancing back to ensure they weren't overheard. "He's particularly focused on hierarchical discipline." Sophia nodded once, acknowledging the comment without criticizing the commanding officer, a trap many officers might have fallen into when offered such an opening. "No apology necessary, Lieutenant. Every command has its established culture." They walked in silence for several moments before the lieutenant spoke again, his voice carefully neutral. "If I may ask, Colonel, what brings strategic systems to our division?" "There's been no announcement about system evaluations." "Standard operational review," Sophia replied with practiced ease. "Nothing that should concern the divisional staff." The lieutenant's expression suggested he recognized the polite deflection, but knew better than to press further. They reached the briefing room, a stark space with a conference table, several chairs, and tactical maps displayed on the walls. "Can I get you anything while you wait for the general briefing, Colonel?" he asked, his professionalism masking any curiosity about her presence. "No, thank you, Lieutenant." She settled into a chair with the same calm precision that characterized all her movements. "This is perfect." Left alone, Sophia extracted a small tablet from her portfolio and began making notes, not about the tactical system she had observed, but about the command dynamics, leadership patterns, and organizational response to unexpected situations. Her fingers moved quickly across the screen, documenting specific interactions, notable behavioral patterns, and structural vulnerabilities within the command hierarchy. The confrontation had revealed exactly what she needed to assess, not just Hargrove's leadership style, but how the entire command structure functioned under stress. The public humiliation attempt had been unpleasant, but extraordinarily informative. She had witnessed firsthand the leadership gaps that Pentagon analysis had identified months earlier: rigid hierarchy over adaptive thinking, intimidation over collaboration, personal authority over mission effectiveness. Sophia checked her watch, 0732 hours. The official transition would occur in exactly 88 minutes. Until then, she would continue gathering unfiltered observations that would inform her approach to command restructuring. The door opened. Without warning, Sophia looked up to see a senior officer enter, Colonel James Thornton, according to his nameplate. His expression was professionally neutral, but his eyes communicated subtle apology. "Colonel Westbrook," he acknowledged with a respectful nod. "I've been informed you're waiting for the general briefing." "That's correct, Colonel Thornton," she replied, recognizing him from personnel files as the division's operations officer, Hargrove's right hand and potential ally or obstacle in the coming transition. Thornton closed the door behind him. and approached the conference table. "I thought you might appreciate some context before the briefing begins. General Hargrove runs a traditional command structure." "I noticed," Sophia replied without inflection, offering neither criticism nor approval. Thornton studied her carefully, measuring his next words. "The general values operational experience above all. Strategic systems officers sometimes face skepticism here due to their analytical rather than combat-oriented backgrounds." Sophia allowed a moment of silence before responding. "Skepticism is natural when operational perspectives meet strategic ones. Different priorities, different approaches." Thornton seemed to relax slightly, interpreting her response as understanding rather than defensiveness. "Exactly. I wanted to ensure you weren't taken aback by the general's direct approach. It's simply his leadership style." "I appreciate the context," Sophia said, her expression revealing nothing of her thoughts. "Every commander establishes their own command culture." Thornton nodded, apparently satisfied with the exchange. "The briefing will begin at 0900 sharp. General Hargrove expects precise timing." "I'll be there," Sophia assured him. "Thank you, Colonel." After Thornton departed, Sophia returned to her notes, adding observations about interpersonal dynamics and informal communication channels. The brief interaction had confirmed another critical assessment. The command staff had adapted to Hargrove's leadership style by developing diplomatic workarounds, attempting to smooth rough edges and mitigate fallout rather than addressing fundamental leadership issues. At 0845 hours, Sophia secured her tablet and prepared for the transition. She straightened her uniform, ensuring every element was perfectly aligned. From her portfolio, she extracted a sealed envelope containing her official transfer orders and command authorization, documents that would transform her from uninvited observer to commanding officer in an instant. At precisely 0850, she left the briefing room and made her way toward the main assembly hall where the division's senior staff would be gathering. Officers and enlisted personnel streamed through the corridors, most sparing only cursory glances for the unfamiliar colonel walking confidently among them. The assembly hall doors stood open, revealing a large space with rows of chairs arranged before a raised platform. General Hargrove already occupied the stage, conversing with several senior officers, including Colonel Thornton. Their discussion appeared intense, with Hargrove gesturing emphatically while the others listened with rigid attention. Sophia chose a position near the back wall, observing as the room filled with personnel. Military precision governed the process, officers seated according to rank and function, conversations conducted in professional murmurs, everyone positioned 3 minutes before the scheduled start time. At exactly 0859, the room fell silent. As an aide approached the podium and called, "Attention!" everyone rose in unison, standing at perfect attention as General Hargrove stepped to the podium. His bearing projected absolute authority as he surveyed the assembled officers. "Be seated," he commanded, and 200 personnel returned to their chairs with synchronized precision. "This morning's briefing will address several critical operational matters," Hargrove began, his voice projecting to the furthest corners of the room without technological assistance. "Before we proceed, I've been informed that we have a Pentagon representative with us today." His eyes found Sophia at the back of the room, his expression making clear that this acknowledgement was not welcome recognition, but obligatory protocol. "Colonel Westbrook from Strategic Systems Division is observing our operations. I trust you find our practical approach to mission execution enlightening after the theoretical environment of Pentagon planning." The subtle dismissal generated a ripple of uncomfortable tension through the assembled officers. Several glanced back at Sophia, their expressions ranging from curiosity to sympathy. Hargrove continued, "Now, to the first order of business." The side door to the assembly hall opened. and a senior aide entered carrying a sealed portfolio marked with Pentagon insignia. He approached the stage with urgent purpose, interrupting the general's remarks, a breach of protocol that drew surprised murmurs from the assembled officers. The aide handed the portfolio to Colonel Thornton, speaking in a hushed tone that nevertheless carried in the silent room. "Priority communication from Joint Chiefs, sir. Immediate attention required." Thornton accepted the portfolio, breaking the seal and examining the contents with growing tension evident in his expression. He approached General Hargrove and spoke quietly, handing him the documents with visible reluctance. Hargrove's face remained impassive as he reviewed the papers, but the rigid set of his shoulders betrayed surprise and displeasure. His eyes lifted from the documents and scanned the room, eventually fixing on Sophia with newfound intensity. The silence stretched uncomfortably until Hargrove cleared his throat and returned to the podium. "Change of agenda," he announced, his voice noticeably tighter than before. "It appears we have a personnel transition to address immediately." He straightened to full attention, his expression carved from stone. "Effective immediately, by direct order of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, command of the 7th Tactical Division is transferred to Colonel Sophia Westbrook." The announcement landed like a thunderclap in the silent room. 200 heads turned simultaneously toward Sophia, expressions ranging from shock to disbelief to professional curiosity. Hargrove continued with military precision, though each word seemed extracted at significant personal cost. "Colonel Westbrook brings significant strategic experience to this position. I will be transitioning to Pentagon advisory operations, effective upon completion of this ceremony." The general's eyes fixed on Sophia with icy formality. "Colonel Westbrook, please approach the stage for official transfer of command." Sophia moved forward through the parting crowd of officers, her steps measured and confident. Every eye tracked her progress as she ascended to the platform with the same calm composure she had maintained throughout the morning's confrontation. She stood before General Hargrove, whose face had hardened into an unreadable mask. The difference in their physical stature was striking. Hargrove towered over her by nearly a foot, yet the authority shift was palpable to everyone present. "Your command authorization, Colonel," Hargrove stated formally, extending his hand. Sophia opened her portfolio and removed her complete authorization documents, not the limited credentials she had presented earlier, but the full command packet bearing the signatures of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. She handed them to Hargrove. With professional courtesy, the general examined the documents with microscopic attention, searching for any irregularity that might delay the inevitable. Finding none, he returned the papers with rigid formality. "Authentication confirmed," he announced to the room. "Colonel Sophia Westbrook, do you accept command of the 7th Tactical Division with all responsibilities therein?" "I do, General," Sophia replied, her voice clear and resolute. Hargrove removed his command insignia, a symbolic gesture representing transfer of authority, and presented it with military precision. "Then by the authority vested in me, I hereby transfer command to you, effective immediately." Sophia accepted the insignia with appropriate solemnity. "I relieve you, sir." "I stand relieved," Hargrove confirmed, the traditional phrase finalizing the transfer. A moment of profound silence enveloped the room as the significance of the exchange registered with every person present. The woman who had been publicly dismissed as a Pentagon theorist without field experience just 90 minutes earlier was now their commanding officer. Hargrove stepped back, rendering a precisely executed salute that Sophia returned with equal precision. The formality complete, he moved to take a seat in the front row while Sophia turned to address her new command for the first time. She surveyed the room, meeting the gaze of officers still processing the unexpected transition. Her expression remained composed but engaged, her posture communicating confidence without arrogance. "Thank you, General Hargrove," she began, acknowledging her predecessor with professional respect despite the morning's confrontation. The 7th Tactical Division's operational excellence is well established, and I recognize the leadership that has brought this unit to its current standing. The diplomatic acknowledgement eased some of the tension in the room, though confusion remained evident on many faces. Those who had witnessed the earlier confrontation in the command center exchanged meaningful glances, uncertain how this dramatic reversal would affect their immediate future. For those wondering about this transition, Sophia continued, addressing the unspoken questions directly. This command change has been planned for several months as part of broader strategic restructuring. The approach to this transition was deliberately designed to allow me to observe authentic operational patterns before assuming command. Understanding dawned across the assembly as officers realized the morning's events had been no accident, but a calculated assessment strategy. Sophia had experienced their command culture exactly as it existed when no one was performing for a new commander's benefit. My leadership philosophy is straightforward, she continued. Mission effectiveness through operational excellence, collaborative problem solving, and transparent communication. In the coming days, I'll meet with each departmental team to establish clear objectives and expectations. She paused, allowing her next words to carry appropriate weight. What you experienced this morning, a commanding officer who observed before revealing her position, reflects my approach to leadership. I believe in understanding before directing, listening before deciding, and supporting before demanding. The contrast with Hargrove's confrontational style was unmistakable yet tactfully presented. Several senior officers straightened in their seats, reassessing their new commander with increasing interest. I recognize this transition represents significant change. Change brings uncertainty, but also opportunity. My door will be open to all officers who wish to discuss departmental needs or operational concerns. Sophia concluded her address with calm authority. We'll reconvene at 1400 hours for comprehensive operational briefings. Department heads, please prepare current status reports. Until then, carry on with standard operations. Dismissed. As the assembly dispersed, the atmosphere hummed with restrained conversation, officers processing the dramatic leadership change and its implications. Sophia remained on the platform, accepting formal introductions from senior staff, approaching with newfound respect and curiosity. General Hargrove stood rigid at the side of the platform, watching the proceedings with unreadable expression. When the initial flurry of introductions subsided, he approached Sophia with military precision. "A word in private, Colonel," he requested, his tone formal but his eyes communicating suppressed tension. "Of course, General," Sophia replied. "My office would be appropriate." The significance of her response, claiming what had been his office until minutes ago, was not lost on either of them. They walked together through corridors suddenly alive with speculative whispers, officers and enlisted personnel alike watching the pair with undisguised fascination. They reached the commander's office, a spacious room overlooking the parade grounds, its walls adorned with military honors and tactical maps. Hargrove's personal effects remained in place, awaiting removal once the transition was complete. Sophia closed the door and turned to face her predecessor, maintaining professional composure while allowing him the first word. "An unorthodox assumption of command, Colonel," Hargrove stated, his voice tight with controlled emotion. "Some might consider it deceptive." "Strategic," Sophia corrected calmly. "Leadership transitions reveal valuable information when they're unexpected." Hargrove's jaw tightened. "You deliberately withheld your authority this morning in the command center." "I observed authentic operational dynamics," she replied without defensiveness. "Something impossible to achieve had my position been known." "And what exactly did your observation reveal, Colonel?" His emphasis on her rank carried subtle challenge, acknowledgement of her position paired with reminder of his superior rank as general. Sophia considered her response carefully. This conversation would set the tone for their professional relationship moving forward, a relationship that would impact divisional operations during the transition period. It revealed a command structure prioritizing hierarchy over operational effectiveness, she said directly, but without accusation. Officers focused more on anticipating your response than addressing mission parameters. That creates operational vulnerabilities we'll need to address. Hargrove's expression hardened at the assessment. My leadership style maintained discipline and mission focus. This division has the highest operational rating in the entire military. Operational excellence and healthy command culture aren't mutually exclusive, General, Sophia responded. Both are essential for sustained mission effectiveness. The general studied her with narrowed eyes, measuring his response. The Joint Chiefs clearly favor your approach. Time will demonstrate whether they've made the correct decision. I believe it will, Sophia agreed simply. Hargrove straightened, military bearing reasserting itself. I'll have my personal effects removed by 1200 hours. You'll have full access to all operational files and command protocols by end of day. Thank you, General. I appreciate your professionalism during this transition. He moved toward the door, then paused with his hand on the handle. One question, Colonel. When I confronted you this morning, did you anticipate this outcome? Sophia allowed herself a small smile, the first genuine expression she had permitted since arriving at Fort Bridgewater. I anticipated learning exactly what I needed to know about the division I would be commanding. In that respect, General, you provided invaluable insight. Hargrove absorbed the response with rigid composure. Then I wish you success, Colonel. This division deserves nothing less. He rendered a precise salute, which Sophia returned with equal precision. After his departure, Sophia moved to the window overlooking the parade grounds where personnel continued their daily activities, most still unaware of the significant command change that had just occurred. She observed the operational patterns visible even from this distance, the structured formations, the precise timing, the emphasis on visible discipline. The division was exceptionally well trained, their operational excellence unquestionable. What they lacked wasn't skill but adaptability, the flexibility to respond to changing conditions without rigid adherence to established patterns. That would be her first priority as commander, maintaining the operational excellence while developing more responsive, collaborative leadership throughout the command structure. Sophia turned to the commander's desk, her desk now, and began organizing her materials with the same methodical precision she applied to every aspect of her work. Your approach represents significant cultural shift for this division, Colonel. What timeline do you anticipate for implementation? The question contained both professional inquiry and subtle challenge, probing her expectations while establishing himself as guardian of the division's established identity. Implementation begins immediately, but cultural evolution takes time, Sophia responded. I anticipate 3 phases. Initial structural adjustments over 2 weeks, followed by integrative training cycles over 2 months, culminating in comprehensive field exercises to validate the evolved command structure. The detailed response demonstrated both clear vision and realistic expectations. No magical overnight transformation, but a measured, methodical approach to organizational development. Even Thornton seemed to appreciate the pragmatic timeline, though his expression remained carefully neutral. If there are no further questions, we'll adjourn until department meetings beginning tomorrow at 0800, Sophia concluded. Please prepare comprehensive operational assessments focusing on both strengths and adaptation challenges. Colonel Thornton, I'd appreciate you remaining for a moment to discuss operational transition priorities. As other officers gathered their materials and departed, Thornton remained seated, his posture revealing neither resistance nor enthusiasm, simply professional compliance. When the door closed behind the last departing officer, Sophia addressed him directly. You were General Hargrove's most trusted advisor, Colonel. Your insight into this division's operational patterns will be invaluable during this transition. Thornton's expression registered momentary surprise at the direct acknowledgement of his position. I served as operations officer under General Hargrove for 4 years, Colonel. I understand this division's functional parameters. Precisely. Why your perspective matters, Sophia replied. You know what works, what doesn't, and where the friction points exist in current command structure. That knowledge is essential for effective transition. She paused, studying him with frank assessment. Your loyalty to General Hargrove is evident and speaks well of your professional integrity. I don't expect that loyalty to transfer automatically to new command. What I do expect is your commitment to this division's operational excellence, regardless of who issues the orders. The directness caught him off guard. Most new commanders would have demanded immediate, personal loyalty or ignored the obvious allegiance issue entirely. Thornton considered his response carefully. My priority has always been this division's operational effectiveness, Colonel. That won't change under new command. Good, Sophia nodded. Then I'll be direct about why. I wanted to speak with you privately. The command culture established under General Hargrove created specific operational vulnerabilities that need immediate attention. As operations officer, you're best positioned to address them. Thornton's expression tightened. What vulnerabilities specifically, Colonel? Sophia activated her tablet, displaying comparative analytics from the division's last 3 major exercises. Information flow restriction during parameter shifts. When operational conditions change, field commanders wait for centralized directives, rather than adapting to immediate conditions. That delay creates critical vulnerability windows. The data visualization highlighted precisely where performance metrics dropped during scenario changes, confirmation of the adaptation gap she had referenced earlier. The centralized approach ensures consistent application of tactical protocols. Thornton countered, repeating his earlier defense of Hargrove's methodology. In stable conditions, yes, Sophia acknowledged. But in evolving scenarios, it creates decision paralysis at critical junctures. Field commanders need authority to adapt within mission parameters without waiting for centralized approval of every tactical adjustment. She highlighted specific incidents from recent exercises where delayed adaptation had compromised mission objectives despite perfect execution of initial protocols. The evidence was compelling and specific, not theoretical critique, but documented. Performance issues. Thornton studied the data, his professional commitment to operational excellence, visibly wrestling with his loyalty to established methods. Distributing tactical decision authority increases variability in response patterns. General Hargrove considered that unacceptable risk, greater than the risk of operational failure during critical adaptation windows. Sophia questioned, not confrontationally, but with genuine inquiry. The data suggests otherwise. The evidence-based challenge struck at the heart of Thornton's professional identity as operations officer. His responsibility wasn't defending methodology, but ensuring operational effectiveness. The performance metrics made clear which approach better served that objective. After long consideration, he nodded slowly. I see the vulnerability window. Addressing it would require significant adjustment to command protocols. It would, Sophia agreed. That's why I need your expertise. You understand current protocols better than anyone. Your insight is essential for developing modifications that preserve operational consistency while enabling necessary adaptation. The approach was strategically perfect, acknowledging his expertise, validating his importance to the division, and inviting his participation in necessary evolution rather than demanding compliance with imposed changes. It offered professional respect while creating path for transition from Hargrove loyalist to valued advisor in the new command structure. Thornton straightened, military bearing reasserting itself as he processed the request. I'll prepare comprehensive Protocol analysis with adaptation recommendations for your review, Colonel. Target delivery 0700 tomorrow before department meetings begin. Thank you, Colonel. That timeline works perfectly. As Thornton departed, Sophia remained at the conference table, reviewing notes from the meeting. The initial engagement with senior staff had gone as well as could be expected, establishing clear direction while acknowledging existing strengths and inviting collaborative participation rather than demanding blind compliance. Thornton represented her greatest challenge and potential strongest ally. His response would influence how other Hargrove loyalists navigated the transition. The private conversation had established mutual professional respect while clearly communicating expectations, the foundation for effective working relationship despite their different perspectives. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Lieutenant Daniels, the young officer who had escorted her from the command center that morning, stood in the doorway, his expression uncertain. "Colonel Westbrook, I've been assigned as your command liaison during transition. Is this an appropriate time to discuss administrative priorities?" Sophia recognized the assignment for what it was, Hargrove's final act before departing, placing his junior aide in position to monitor the new commander's activities and potentially report back. The young lieutenant's discomfort suggested he understood this dynamic as well. "Perfect timing, Lieutenant," she replied, gesturing to the chair opposite her. "I was just reviewing departmental integration priorities." Daniel sat with military precision, his posture revealing the tension of divided loyalties. "General Hargrove indicated you might have questions about administrative protocols during transition, Colonel. Did he?" Sophia's tone remained neutral. "Interesting. And what guidance did the General provide regarding your role during this transition?" The direct question caught him off guard. Daniels hesitated, clearly calculating how much to reveal. "He suggested I ensure continuity of established protocols during the adjustment period." "I see," Sophia nodded. "And did he request regular updates regarding the new command's activities?" The lieutenant's momentary silence confirmed the unspoken assignment. His discomfort was palpable, caught between loyalty to his former commander and professional obligation to his new one. "Lieutenant," Sophia said gently, "your position is unenviable. Loyalty matters in military service. I respect that quality, even when it creates challenging circumstances." She paused, allowing him to process the acknowledgement. "So let me simplify this situation for both of us. Your primary loyalty should be to this division's operational effectiveness, not to any individual commander, including me. Judge my decisions by their impact on this division's mission capability, not by how they compare to previous approaches." The perspective shift offered him professional integrity without forcing explicit betrayal of his former commander. Daniels, visibly relaxed, recognizing the reasonable framework for navigating his complicated position. "That's a helpful perspective, Colonel." "Good," Sophia nodded. "Now I do have questions about administrative protocols, specifically how information flows between command levels during active operations. Walk me through current procedures for transmitting parameter adjustments to field units." The conversation shifted to operational specifics, establishing professional rapport while gathering essential information about the division's functional patterns. By meeting's end, Daniels appeared noticeably more comfortable in his role, his conflicted loyalties eased by Sophia's pragmatic approach and genuine interest in operational effectiveness rather than personal allegiance. As evening approached, Sophia finally retreated to her private quarters, a modest officer's apartment near headquarters that contrasted sharply with the elaborate commander's residence Hargrove had occupied. She had declined the traditional housing assignment, preferring proximity to Operations Center over symbolic status accommodation. The day's events had unfolded largely as anticipated: initial resistance from Hargrove loyalists, cautious neutrality from middle management, and general uncertainty throughout the ranks. Tomorrow would bring department-level meetings, where the real work of organizational transition would begin. Sophia reviewed her notes from the day's interactions, identifying key personnel and potential change points within the command structure. Major Foster had emerged as natural ally, her analytical approach, favoring evidence-based decision-making over personality-driven loyalty. Captain Reed seemed adaptable despite initial anxiety, his concern focused on operational consistency rather than resistance to new leadership. Colonel Thornton remained the pivotal figure. His influence would either accelerate or impede the necessary cultural evolution. A notification appeared on her secure tablet. General Marcus Blackwood, Joint Chiefs Liaison and her former commanding officer, requesting secure communication. She activated the encrypted channel with practiced efficiency. Colonel Westbrook. Blackwood's voice emerged from the speaker. Initial transition complete? Yes, sir, she replied. Command transfer executed at 0900 hours. Initial senior staff briefing conducted at 1400. Department meeting scheduled for tomorrow beginning at 800. Hargrove's departure status? Complete. He's cleared the base as of 1330 hours. Heading to Pentagon for strategic advisory role as planned. Blackwood's tone remained professionally neutral, though she detected subtle concern beneath the formal inquiry. Initial assessment of command climate? Consistent with intelligence briefings, Sophia reported. Rigid hierarchical structure, with excessive centralization. Senior staff divided between Hargrove loyalists and operational pragmatists. Adaptation gap confirmed through performance metrics review. Resistance levels? Moderate but manageable. Colonel Thornton represents primary resistance vector as expected. Approach is professional rather than obstructionist. Potential for integration if properly engaged. And the mornings. Incident? Blackwood inquired carefully. Report. Indicates Hargrove confronted you publicly before transfer announcement. Sophia allowed herself a small smile at the diplomatic phrasing. The incident provided valuable insight into command dynamics, sir. Hargrove's public approach to perceived authority challenges revealed precisely the leadership patterns we need to address. Not bothered by the confrontation, Colonel? Blackwood pressed, personal concern momentarily overriding professional distance. On the contrary, sir. It was extraordinarily useful, Sophia replied. Experiencing the command culture firsthand. Before revealing position allowed authentic assessment impossible through conventional observation. The public nature of the interaction demonstrated structural issues more clearly than any report could convey. Blackwood's chuckle carried through the secure line. Your capacity for converting confrontation into strategic advantage remains impressive, Colonel. Most officers would have revealed their authority immediately rather than allowing public dressing down. Revealing authority prematurely would have compromised assessment objectives, sir. Authentic observation required experience in actual command patterns, not performance displays. Assessment complete then? Initial phase only, Sophia clarified. Cultural transformation requires comprehensive engagement at all command levels. Department meetings tomorrow will establish next phase parameters. Timeline projection? Consistent with mission briefing. 2 weeks for structural adjustments. 2 months for integration training. Culminating in validation exercises at 90-day mark. Excellent, Blackwood affirmed. The Joint Chiefs are particularly interested in your adaptation protocol development. The 7th Tactical represents test case for broader implementation across tactical divisions. Understood, sir. Will provide weekly progress reports beginning Friday. The conversation concluded with standard protocols. Blackwood reiterating the strategic importance of her mission while expressing confidence in her approach. As the secure connection terminated, Sophia returned to her notes, adding observations from the day's interactions that would inform tomorrow's department meetings. The morning's public humiliation had indeed been unpleasant, but extraordinarily revealing, demonstrating with perfect clarity why the Joint Chiefs had selected her for this particular command. Hargrove's confrontational approach, designed to establish dominance through public intimidation, had instead provided comprehensive evidence of the command culture's fundamental flaws. Now the real challenge began, transforming that culture without disrupting the division's operational excellence during the transition. The task required delicate balance, preserving effective elements while methodically replacing dysfunctional patterns with more adaptive approaches. Sophia closed her tablet and moved to the apartment's small kitchen area, preparing simple meal with the same precise efficiency that characterized her professional conduct. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, different resistance vectors, and opportunities to begin reshaping the division's operational approach. The confrontation that had been designed to humiliate her had instead empowered her mission, providing first-hand experience of the command climate she was tasked with transforming. In that sense, General Hargrove had done her an unintentional service, demonstrating exactly why his leadership approach required replacement. As night settled over Fort Bridgewater, most personnel remained unaware that the day's dramatic command transition represented not isolated incident, but first phase in comprehensive strategic evolution. The 7th Tactical Division's transformation would eventually serve as template for military-wide cultural shift, movement from rigid hierarchical models toward more adaptive, responsive command structures better suited to evolving threat landscapes. The morning's public confrontation would fade into base legend, remembered as dramatic moment when authority shifted from old guard to new. But its true significance lay deeper, marking the beginning of fundamental change in how military command itself functioned in modern operational environments. Sophia checked her watch minus 2,130 hours. She set her alarm for 0500, allowing preparation time before tomorrow's departmental meetings began. Sleep came easily despite the day's intensity, her mind clear and focused on the transformation ahead, untroubled by lingering thoughts of the morning's confrontation. The incident had served its purpose, revealing exactly what she needed to know about the command she had inherited. Now that knowledge would fuel the methodical evolution of an elite tactical division from rigid hierarchy to adaptive operational force, the true mission behind her seemingly abrupt installation as commander. The transformation had begun. The transformation of the 7th Tactical Division unfolded with methodical precision under Colonel Sophia Westbrook's leadership. 3 weeks after the dramatic command transfer, the division's operational patterns had begun subtle but significant evolution. Where rigid hierarchy had once dominated every interaction, small pockets of adaptive thinking now emerged across departmental boundaries. Officers who had spent years seeking approval before acting now made tactical decisions within established parameters, their confidence growing with each successful adaptation. Sophia observed these changes from her command office, reviewing performance metrics with quiet satisfaction. The cultural shift had begun exactly as planned, not through dramatic restructuring, but via targeted adjustments to key operational protocols. By authorizing field commanders to adapt within mission parameters rather than awaiting centralized approval, she had eliminated critical vulnerability windows while maintaining operational consistency. Most encouraging was the response from mid-level officers, those directly responsible for implementing tactical directives. Their initial hesitation had gradually transformed into cautious innovation, testing the boundaries of their newly expanded authority while maintaining disciplined adherence to mission objectives. The adaptation gap identified in previous exercises was narrowing precisely as projected. A knock at her office door interrupted her analysis. Major Rebecca Foster entered with tablet in hand, her expression revealing subtle excitement despite her professional composure. Preliminary results from yesterday's simulation exercise. "Colonel," she announced, transferring data to the main display. "I thought you'd want to see this immediately." The screen illuminated with comparative metrics from the division's latest adaptation drill, a complex scenario designed to test response effectiveness during rapidly changing conditions. The results were striking. Adaptation response time had decreased by 37% compared to baseline measurements, while operational precision remained within 3% of previous standards. Impressive progress, Sophia noted, studying the data with analytical precision, especially considering the minimal timeframe since protocol adjustments were implemented. The field commanders are responding exceptionally well to expanded decision authority, Foster confirmed. Once they understood you weren't testing them, but genuinely authorizing adaptive response, their natural leadership capabilities emerged. Sophia nodded thoughtfully. Years of suppressing initiative under centralized command didn't eliminate their capabilities, just buried them beneath protocol constraints. Exactly, Foster agreed. The talent was always there, just waiting for permission to emerge. She hesitated briefly before continuing. There's something else you should see, Colonel. She adjusted the display to show comparative metrics between departmental teams. These patterns are particularly interesting. Teams led by younger officers are adapting more quickly to the new protocols than those under senior leadership. Not surprising, Sophia observed. Senior officers have spent more years under rigid command structure. Adaptation requires unlearning established patterns. True, Foster acknowledged. But there's an outlier that defies expected patterns. She highlighted one specific team showing exceptional adaptation rates despite senior leadership. Colonel Thornton's direct command unit is outperforming all others in adaptation metrics while maintaining top-tier precision standards. Sophia studied the highlighted data with renewed interest. Thornton had been Hargrove's right hand and strongest supporter of centralized command approach. His team's exceptional performance under new protocols represented significant shift in operational philosophy. Send me the complete data set, Sophia requested. I want to examine the specific adaptation parameters his team is implementing. Foster transferred the files with efficient precision. There's one more development you should be aware of, Colonel. General Hargrove has requested all divisions submit comprehensive performance reports for Pentagon review. The request came through official channels but appears targeted at divisions undergoing leadership transitions. The implied meaning was clear. Hargrove was using his new Pentagon position to monitor changes to his former command, potentially seeking evidence to challenge the new leadership approach. Sophia had anticipated this maneuver. It represented classic resistance to organizational change, particularly from leaders whose methods had been superseded. Prepare the standard performance reports as requested, Sophia directed calmly. Include the adaptation metrics showing improvement under new protocols. No special formatting, no defensive justifications, just straightforward performance data. Foster nodded approvingly at the strategic approach. The numbers speak for themselves. Attempting to challenge the results would only highlight why the transition was necessary. Precisely, Sophia agreed. The best response to resistance isn't defensive positioning, but transparent demonstration of improved effectiveness. After Foster departed, Sophia returned to reviewing the adaptation metrics, particularly focusing on Thornton's team performance. The data revealed fascinating pattern. His unit had embraced adaptive protocols, while maintaining the disciplined precision that had been Hargrove's primary strength. They had effectively integrated the best elements of both leadership approaches, achieving superior results through balanced methodology. This development warranted direct engagement. Sophia scheduled observation of Thornton's upcoming field exercise, not as formal evaluation, but as opportunity to witness effective integration firsthand. Understanding how his team had achieved this balance would provide valuable insights for broader implementation across the division. The following morning found Sophia at the division's tactical training facility, observing from the elevated command platform as Thornton's team navigated complex simulation scenario. The exercise involved rapidly changing parameters designed to test adaptation capability under pressure, precisely the conditions where centralized command had previously created critical vulnerabilities. Colonel Thornton stood at the control station, monitoring his team's progress with focused attention. He acknowledged Sophia's presence with professional nod, but maintained primary focus on the exercise unfolding below. His command style revealed interesting evolution, authoritative without being authoritarian, providing clear direction while allowing tactical flexibility within established parameters. When unexpected scenario shift triggered automated system alert, Thornton's response was particularly noteworthy. Rather than issuing immediate directives, he requested rapid assessment from field positions before consolidating information into coordinated response strategy. The approach balanced centralized oversight with distributed decision-making, precisely the integration Sophia had been working to establish throughout the division. Impressive adaptation sequence, she observed as the exercise concluded. Successfully, your team maintained operational precision while implementing 4 distinct tactical adjustments during critical phase. Thornton secured the simulation controls before responding. The integrated protocol approach you authorized has proven remarkably effective, Colonel, allowing field commanders to adapt within established parameters while maintaining coordinated strategic direction combines the strengths of both methodologies. His acknowledgement of the new approach's effectiveness represented significant evolution from his initial skepticism. 3 weeks earlier, he had defended Hargrove's centralized command structure as essential for operational consistency. Now he spoke with genuine appreciation for the balanced methodology that preserved consistency while enabling necessary adaptation. Your team has achieved exemplary integration of seemingly opposing approaches, Sophia noted. The performance metrics reflect breakthrough rather than incremental improvement. Thornton considered his response carefully before speaking. I've been analyzing why the integrated approach works so effectively. The key insight came from studying your command style since taking over the division. He gestured toward the training floor where his team was debriefing the exercise. Under General Hargrove, every decision required explicit approval, creating perfect consistency, but dangerous delay during evolving scenarios. Your approach authorizes decision-making within established parameters while maintaining strategic alignment. The difference is subtle but profound. And your team has implemented that difference with exceptional effectiveness, Sophia acknowledged. Their performance metrics exceed projected adaptation targets while maintaining precision standards. Thornton straightened slightly, military bearing, emphasizing the importance of his next words. I owe you an acknowledgement, Colonel. I initially viewed your leadership approach with skepticism, considering it potentially disruptive to established operational patterns. The evidence has thoroughly disproven that assessment. The admission represented remarkable professional integrity, willingness to reconsider firmly held position based on empirical evidence rather than personal loyalty or institutional habit. It confirmed Sophia's initial assessment of Thornton as potential ally despite his close association with Hargrove's leadership philosophy. Professional skepticism is valuable when followed by evidence-based reassessment, she replied. Your willingness to evaluate new approaches objectively rather than defaulting to established patterns is precisely the quality this division needs during transition. Their conversation was interrupted by Lieutenant Daniels approaching with urgent expression. Colonel Westbrook, priority communication from Pentagon Command. General Blackwood requests immediate secure contact. Thank you, Lieutenant. I'll take it in the secure communications room. As Sophia departed, Thornton returned to debriefing his team, implementing the balanced command approach that had proven so effective during the simulation. The evolution in his leadership style reflected broader transformation, occurring throughout the division, movement from rigid hierarchy toward adaptive integration that preserved operational strengths while addressing critical vulnerabilities. In the secure communications room, Sophia activated encrypted connection with practiced efficiency. General Blackwood's image appeared on the monitor, his expression serious but not alarming. "Colonel," he acknowledged. "How's the transformation progressing?" "Ahead of projected timeline," Sophia reported. Adaptation metrics showing 37% improvement while maintaining operational precision within established parameters. Integration approach proving highly effective, particularly in units that have fully implemented balanced protocol methodology. Blackwood nodded with evident satisfaction. "Excellent progress. However, we have situation developing that will accelerate your timeline significantly. The Joint Chiefs have authorized deployment of 7th Tactical to Operation Cerberus Gate." The announcement was unexpected. Operation Cerberus Gate represented complex multinational security initiative, addressing emerging threats across disputed territorial boundaries. It required precisely the adaptive capability Sophia had been developing within the division, but deployment timeline had originally been projected 6 months after command transition. "Deployment timeline?" she inquired, immediately shifting to operational planning mode. "Advanced team deploys in 72 hours. Main divisional elements follow in 1 week. Full operational engagement expected within 12 days. The accelerated schedule would test the division's adaptation progress under actual deployment conditions rather than controlled exercises. While concerning, the timing might actually prove advantageous. Deployment would occur during active transformation phase when officers were already engaged in adaptive thinking rather than locked in rigid operational patterns. "The division will be ready," Sophia assured him. "The integrated protocol approach has progressed more rapidly than anticipated. Key units are already demonstrating exceptional adaptation capability while maintaining operational precision. That's why the Joint Chiefs authorized accelerated deployment," Blackwood explained. "Intelligence analysis indicates Cerberus Gate will involve rapidly evolving conditions, requiring precisely the adaptive capability you've been developing. The traditional approach would create unacceptable vulnerability windows during parameter shifts. Understanding the mission parameters will be essential for final preparation," Sophia noted. "When can we expect complete operational briefing? Secure packet arriving within 3 hours. Review with your command team and prepare preliminary deployment strategy by 0800 tomorrow." Blackwood paused, his expression communicating unspoken significance. "This deployment represents first field test of the adaptive command model you've been implementing, Colonel. The Joint Chiefs are particularly interested in comparative effectiveness metrics under actual operational conditions. The implications were clear. Successful deployment would validate the adaptive approach for potential implementation across other tactical divisions. The 7th Tactical had become proving ground for evolution of military command philosophy, with results directly influencing strategic direction for future operations. "We'll be ready, General," Sophia assured him with quiet confidence. "The division has embraced the integrated approach more rapidly than projected. They're prepared for this challenge." After the communication terminated, Sophia immediately summoned senior staff for emergency briefing. The accelerated deployment would test not just the division's operational capabilities, but the effectiveness of the command transformation she had implemented over the past 3 weeks. Every aspect of their preparation would reveal whether the cultural evolution had progressed sufficiently for real-world application. Within 30 minutes, department heads assembled in the main conference room, their expressions reflecting professional focus rather than anxiety despite the unexpected deployment notification. The atmosphere differed markedly from similar briefings under Hargrove's command. Collaborative engagement had replaced rigid hierarchy. with officers prepared to contribute rather than simply receive instructions. Operation Cerberus Gate has been authorized with accelerated deployment timeline, Sophia announced without preamble. Advanced team deploys in 72 hours, main division elements within 1 week. Complete mission briefing arrives within 3 hours, but preliminary parameters indicate complex territorial engagement requiring significant adaptation capability. Rather than triggering alarm, the announcement generated focused energy throughout the room. Officers began immediate preparation activities, updating readiness assessments, reviewing equipment status, evaluating personnel deployments. Response demonstrated exactly the adaptive capability Sophia had been cultivating. Rapid transition from standard operations to deployment. Preparation without awaiting detailed centralized directives. This deployment will test our integrated protocol approach under actual operational conditions, Sophia continued. The adaptive capability we've been developing will be essential for mission success, given the evolving parameters expected in the engagement zone. Colonel Thornton spoke from his position at the operations table. The simulation exercises we've been conducting have focused on precisely this scenario, maintaining operational precision while adapting to evolving conditions. The division is better prepared for this deployment now than they would have been under previous command. Structure. The assessment reflected remarkable evolution in Thornton's perspective, from defender of Hargrove's rigid methodology to advocate for the integrated approach that balanced centralized direction with distributed adaptation capability. His support would prove invaluable during the challenging deployment ahead. Major Foster activated the tactical display, highlighting preliminary intelligence assessment. Based on available information, the operation will involve multiple faction interactions across disputed territories. Conditions will likely shift rapidly as diplomatic parameters evolve in parallel with tactical engagement. Traditional command approach would create significant vulnerability during transition phases. Exactly why our integrated protocol methodology is essential, Sophia confirmed. Field commanders will need authority to adapt within mission parameters. As conditions evolve, while maintaining strategic alignment through coordinated communication channels. The briefing continued with remarkable efficiency, each department head contributing relevant preparation assessments without requiring explicit direction. The collaborative engagement demonstrated precisely how far the division had evolved from the rigid hierarchy that had dominated 3 weeks earlier under Hargrove's command. As the meeting concluded, Sophia addressed one final critical point. This deployment represents not just operational mission, but strategic validation of our command approach. The Joint Chiefs will be evaluating effectiveness of integrated protocol methodology under actual field conditions. The results will influence future command structure across multiple divisions. The significance registered with every officer present. Their performance would determine not just mission success, but potential evolution of military command philosophy. The responsibility was enormous, but their confidence had grown proportionally through recent weeks of successful adaptation exercises. We've prepared for this, Sophia reminded them with quiet assurance. The integrated approach has already demonstrated superior effectiveness in simulation environments. Now we'll validate those results under actual operational conditions. As senior staff departed to begin deployment preparations, Colonel Thornton remained behind, his expression thoughtful. Permission to speak freely, Colonel? Always. Sophia confirmed, recognizing the significance of his request, given his previous reluctance to challenge established perspectives. When you first assumed command, I questioned whether theoretical strategic approach could improve upon battle-tested operational methodology, he acknowledged directly. I defended General Hargrove's command structure because it had produced measurable results, despite obvious limitations. His candor was remarkable, open acknowledgement of his initial skepticism without defensive justification. Sophia remained silent, allowing him to complete his thought without interruption. "I was wrong," Thornton stated simply. "The integrated approach you've implemented doesn't replace effective operational methodology, but enhances it by addressing critical adaptation gaps. The evidence is irrefutable. Our performance metrics demonstrate superior effectiveness across all mission parameters." The acknowledgement represented extraordinary professional integrity, willingness to reconsider firmly held position, based on objective evidence rather than personal loyalty or institutional inertia. It confirmed Sophia's assessment of Thornton as pivotal figure in the division's transformation. "Your operational expertise has been invaluable in implementing the integrated approach," she responded with genuine appreciation. "Theoretical models require practical application expertise to achieve optimal results. That's precisely why this division has achieved such remarkable progress in limited time frame." Thornton nodded, acknowledging the collaborative nature of the success they had achieved. "The deployment will validate what the exercises have already DEMON, balanced integration of centralized strategic direction with distributed tactical adaptation, creates superior operational capability." As he departed to begin deployment preparations, Sophia reflected on the remarkable transformation that had occurred within the division over 3 short weeks. The rigid hierarchy that had dominated under Hargrove's command had evolved into collaborative integration that preserved operational strengths while addressing critical vulnerabilities. Officers who had once awaited explicit approval before acting now made confident decisions within established parameters. Their natural leadership capabilities emerging from beneath years of protocol constraints. The accelerated deployment would challenge their progress, testing the integrated approach under actual operational conditions rather than controlled exercises. Yet the timing might prove advantageous. The division would deploy during active transformation when adaptive thinking had been normalized, rather than after returning to comfortable operational patterns. The secure communication system chimed, indicating arrival of complete mission briefing for Operation Cerberus Gate. Sophia downloaded the encrypted files with practiced efficiency, reviewing operational parameters with focused attention. The mission complexity confirmed initial assessment. Rapidly evolving conditions across disputed territories would require precisely the adaptive capability they had been developing. As night settled over Fort Bridgewater, preparation activities continued throughout the complex. The accelerated deployment had triggered remarkable response throughout the division, not panicked scrambling but focused determination that reflected their evolution from rigid hierarchy to adaptive integration. Officers at every level engaged in preparation activities without awaiting detailed centralized directives, demonstrating exactly the capability that would prove essential during the complex operation ahead. Sophia moved through the command center, observing the activity with quiet satisfaction. The cultural transformation she had initiated was achieving precisely the results projected in her original mission briefing, preserving operational excellence, while developing adaptive capability essential for modern engagement scenarios. The division had embraced the integrated approach with remarkable speed, suggesting underlying readiness for evolution that had simply awaited appropriate leadership catalyst. In the Tactical Operations Center, she found Colonel Thornton reviewing deployment logistics with his team, implementing the balanced command approach that had produced such impressive results in recent exercises. His evolution from skeptical observer to active participant in the transformation process represented broader pattern throughout the division, recognition that integrated methodology enhanced rather than disrupted operational effectiveness. "Deployment preparation status?" Sophia inquired, approaching the operations table where tactical planning was underway. "Advanced team preparation at 87% completion," Thornton reported with confident precision. "Equipment certification complete. Personnel assignments finalized. Communication protocols established. Field commanders have been briefed on integrated protocol expectations. Maintain strategic alignment while exercising tactical adaptation authority within established parameters. The report confirmed readiness levels exceeding standard deployment metrics despite accelerated timeline. The division was responding to the challenge with exceptional effectiveness, demonstrating the adaptive capability that would prove essential during the complex operation ahead. Excellent progress, Sophia acknowledged. The division has embraced the integrated approach more completely than projected timeline anticipated. Thornton nodded thoughtfully. The potential was always present. Officers at every level capable of greater initiative than traditional command structure permitted. Your approach simply authorized capabilities that existed beneath protocol constraints. His assessment echoed Sophia's original analysis. The division's operational excellence had never been in question. Only the command structure that restricted their adaptive capacity during evolving scenarios. By implementing integrated methodology that balanced centralized direction with distributed decision authority, she had unlocked capabilities that had always existed within the organization. As midnight approached, Sophia returned to her office for final review of the mission parameters. Operation Cerberus Gate represented perfect test case for the command transformation she had implemented. Complex territorial engagement requiring both precise operational execution and rapid adaptation to evolving conditions. The integrated protocol approach had demonstrated superior effectiveness in simulation environments. Now they would validate those results under actual field conditions. Her secure tablet chimed with incoming message, General Blackwood requesting status update on deployment preparation. She responded with concise assessment, preparation exceeding standard metrics despite accelerated timeline. Division demonstrating exceptional adaptation capability while maintaining operational precision. Advanced team deployment readiness at 87% completion. Integrated protocol methodology fully implemented across all command levels. Blackwood's response was equally concise. Joint Chiefs' confidence in your approach confirmed by intelligence assessment. Adaptive capability essential for mission success, given evolving parameters. Your leadership transformation proceeding exactly as projected. The acknowledgement confirmed strategic significance of the work they had accomplished over past 3 weeks. The 7th Tactical Division had become testing ground for evolution of military command philosophy, with their performance during Operation Cerberus Gate potentially influencing future direction across multiple divisions. As Sophia completed final review of the mission parameters, her thoughts returned briefly to the morning 3 weeks earlier when General Hargrove had publicly humiliated her before discovering her true identity. The incident had provided perfect illustration of the command culture she had been tasked with transforming. Rigid hierarchy prioritizing personal authority over operational effectiveness, intimidation over collaboration, protocol compliance over adaptive capability. The confrontation that had been designed to diminish her had instead empowered her mission, demonstrating with perfect clarity why the Joint Chiefs had selected her to implement this crucial transformation. Now the division was deploying to complex operational theater where their evolved capabilities would be tested under actual field conditions, validating the integrated approach that balanced operational precision with adaptive response. The transformation that had begun with public humiliation would culminate in operational validation, demonstrating that leadership effectiveness derives not from intimidation or rigid hierarchy but from unlocking capabilities already present within the organization through balanced integration of centralized direction and distributed adaptation authority. As Fort Bridgewater prepared for major deployment, the mood throughout the division reflected their evolution, focused determination replacing rigid compliance, collaborative engagement replacing hierarchical submission, confident initiative replacing protocol dependence. They had transformed from operational executor to adaptive force, maintaining their precision excellence while developing responsive capability essential for modern engagement scenarios. The mission ahead would test their progress, challenging the integrated approach under actual field conditions rather than controlled exercises. Yet their readiness exceeded all projected metrics, suggesting potential for success that would validate not just operational capability, but evolution of command philosophy itself. The transformation was proceeding exactly as planned. Operation Cerberus Gate unfolded across disputed territorial boundaries with unprecedented complexity. 6 weeks into the deployment, the 7th Tactical Division had established operational presence across 3 key regions, navigating volatile diplomatic conditions while maintaining security parameters that shifted almost daily. Intelligence reports confirmed what tactical commanders experienced. Firsthand, the mission environment evolved more rapidly than any previous engagement, creating conditions where traditional command structures would have failed catastrophically. Instead, the division demonstrated remarkable effectiveness through the integrated protocol approach Sophia had implemented. Field commanders adapted to changing conditions within strategic parameters, maintaining mission alignment while adjusting. Tactical execution, based on immediate situational assessment. The adaptation gaps that had plagued previous operations had been eliminated, replaced by responsive capability that preserved operational precision while enabling necessary evolution. At the forward command post established near Territorial Boundary Alpha, Sophia reviewed the latest performance metrics with quiet satisfaction. The division's effectiveness under complex conditions exceeded even optimistic projections, with adaptation response times 42% faster than comparable units, operating under traditional command structures. More importantly, operational precision remained at elite standards despite the constant evolution of mission parameters. Latest intelligence assessment, Colonel, Major Foster announced, entering the command post with data tablet. Diplomatic negotiations have shifted security boundaries in Sector 5. Local faction leadership requesting immediate adjustment to patrol parameters. Under traditional command structure, such mid-operation adjustment would have triggered lengthy approval process, creating dangerous security gap while centralized authority considered appropriate response. The integrated approach eliminated this vulnerability entirely. Notify Captain Mercer's team of boundary adjustments, Sophia directed calmly. Captain Reed's after-action assessment confirms integrated protocol effectiveness, Foster continued. His team adjusted security posture 5 times during the development based on evolving conditions, maintaining precise alignment with diplomatic initiatives throughout the engagement. Forward complete operation record to General Blackwood, Sophia directed. Include comparative analysis with traditional containment scenario projections based on historical response patterns. The comprehensive documentation would provide empirical evidence of integrated methodology effectiveness under actual operational conditions, data that would prove invaluable during inevitable review by Pentagon Command evaluating competing approaches. Theoretical debates could be dismissed. Operational results could not. 2 days later, Sophia received unexpected communication request. General Hargrove requesting direct connection from Pentagon Command. She accepted the transmission with professional composure, prepared for confrontation regarding Sector 7 operation that had successfully deviated from traditional methodology. He continued to advocate. Colonel Westbrook, Hargrove acknowledged with rigid formality as his image appeared on the secure monitor. I've reviewed your operational report regarding Sector 7 development. General, Sophia responded with equal formality, neither defensive nor challenging in her tone. The report includes comprehensive assessment of integrated protocol implementation under complex engagement parameters. Hargrove's expression remained unreadable, though the slight tension in his jaw suggested internal conflict rather than simple disapproval. The outcome achieved optimal resolution of security concerns while supporting diplomatic objectives, he stated with evident reluctance. Traditional containment approach would likely have produced less favorable results given the specific circumstances. The acknowledgement was extraordinary coming from such staunch advocate of centralized command methodology. Whether motivated by professional integrity or political calculation, his recognition of the integrated approach's effectiveness represented significant validation from unexpected source. The integrated protocol approach preserves operational precision while enabling necessary adaptation to evolving conditions. Sophia responded, neither claiming victory nor emphasizing his concession. Each methodology has appropriate application, depending on engagement parameters. The diplomatic response offered professional respect rather than triumphant declaration, establishing foundation for potential collaboration rather than continued opposition. Hargrove's expression suggested he recognized and appreciated the approach, despite his continued preference for traditional methodology. The Joint Chiefs have authorized expanded implementation of your command approach based on operational results from Cerberus Gate, he informed her with formal precision. 3 additional tactical divisions will transition to integrated protocol methodology following your deployment conclusion. The announcement confirmed what performance metrics had already demonstrated. The command transformation Sophia had implemented had proven sufficiently effective to justify broader application across multiple divisions. The 7th, Tactical, had indeed become proving ground for evolution of military command philosophy, with their operational success establishing new standard for future deployments. The division's performance reflects exceptional capability at all command levels, Sophia acknowledged, attributing success to organizational effectiveness rather than personal achievement. The integrated approach simply enabled capabilities that already existed beneath protocol constraints. Hargrove studied her with reassessment evident in his expression. Your leadership style differs significantly from traditional command approach, Colonel. Results suggest it may be more appropriate for evolving operational environments than methods that served effectively in previous eras. The acknowledgement represented remarkable professional integrity, willingness to recognize changing requirements rather than defending established patterns based on institutional loyalty or personal preference. While Hargrove clearly maintained philosophical alignment with traditional methodology, he had demonstrated capacity for evidence-based reassessment that distinguished true leadership from mere authority assertion. Effective leadership evolves with operational requirements, Sophia responded. Previous approaches succeeded in their appropriate contexts. New challenges require corresponding adaptation in command philosophy. Their conversation concluded with formal professional courtesy, neither pretending fundamental alignment nor maintaining unnecessary opposition. They had reached understanding based on operational reality rather than theoretical positions, recognition that effectiveness ultimately mattered more than methodological preference. As Operation Cerberus Gate entered its final phase, 8 weeks after initial deployment, the 7th Tactical Division had established new performance standard for complex engagement operations. Their integration of precise operational execution with adaptive response capability had enabled unprecedented effectiveness in environment where traditional approach would have created dangerous vulnerabilities. The Pentagon's decision to implement similar transformation across multiple divisions confirmed what operational metrics had demonstrated conclusively: the integrated protocol methodology Sophia had developed represented necessary evolution in military command philosophy, preserving essential precision while enabling adaptation capability required for modern engagement scenarios. At Forward Command Post during final operational week, Sophia reviewed comprehensive performance assessment with her senior staff. The data visualization displayed on tactical screen told compelling story mission effectiveness metrics significantly exceeding historical baselines across all parameters, with particular improvement in adaptation response during evolving conditions. The division has demonstrated remarkable integration of seemingly opposing capabilities, she observed, acknowledging the collaborative achievement rather than claiming personal credit. Operational precision maintained at elite standards while developing adaptation capability that eliminated traditional vulnerability windows. Colonel Thornton, whose evolution from skeptical observer to committed practitioner had symbolized broader transformation throughout the division, nodded thoughtfully. The integrated approach succeeded because it enhanced rather than replaced existing strengths. We maintained operational discipline while developing responsive capability essential for modern engagement parameters. His assessment perfectly captured the balanced philosophy that had guided the transformation, not wholesale replacement, of established methodology but strategic evolution that preserved effective elements while addressing critical vulnerabilities. The approach had enabled success precisely because it built upon existing capabilities rather than imposing arbitrary change. As we prepare for return to Fort Bridgewater, each department should compile comprehensive assessment of integrated protocol implementation, Sophia directed. Identify specific elements that enhanced operational effectiveness and areas requiring further refinement. These insights will inform broader implementation across additional divisions. The directive reflected forward-looking leadership rather than retrospective celebration, using successful deployment as foundation for continued evolution rather than endpoint achievement. The transformation they had implemented represented ongoing process rather than completed task, with each operational application providing new insights for further refinement. 2 weeks later, as transport aircraft touched down at Fort Bridgewater, returning the division to home base after successful deployment, Sophia observed the returning personnel with quiet pride. They moved with confident precision that reflected their elite operational status, but their interactions revealed subtle difference from pre-deployment patterns. Collaborative engagement had replaced rigid hierarchy. Mutual respect had supplanted intimidation-based compliance. The cultural transformation had occurred in parallel with protocol evolution, creating organization that maintained disciplined excellence while developing adaptive capability essential for modern operational environments. They had returned not just successful but fundamentally evolved, still recognizable as elite tactical division, but enhanced through balanced integration of precision and adaptation. The formal debriefing session scheduled for 1400 hours would include Pentagon observers evaluating the integrated approach for broader implementation. General Blackwood would attend personally, along with Joint Chiefs representatives assessing potential application across multiple divisions. The scrutiny reflected strategic significance of the transformation, not isolated command change but potential evolution in military leadership philosophy. As senior staff assembled in main conference room 30 minutes before formal briefing, Colonel Thornton approached Sophia with uncharacteristic hesitation. "Permission to share personal observation before official proceedings begin, Colonel." "Of course," she agreed, recognizing significance in his unusually tentative approach. That incident revealed command philosophy prioritizing personal authority over organizational effectiveness pattern I had accepted without questioning, despite recognizing its limitations. The reflection demonstrated extraordinary self-awareness and professional integrity, willingness to reconsider firmly established perspective based on direct observation and empirical results, rather than institutional loyalty or philosophical alignment. His evolution paralleled the division's broader transformation from rigid hierarchy to adaptive integration. Your response to that confrontation, maintaining composure while gathering authentic assessment rather than asserting authority prematurely, demonstrated leadership approach prioritizing mission effectiveness over personal position. Thornton observed that fundamental difference has transformed this division from excellent tactical executor to adaptive operational force without compromising precision standards that established our elite status. The assessment captured precisely the balanced approach Sophia had implemented, preserving operational excellence while developing adaptive capability essential for modern engagement environments. The transformation had succeeded because it enhanced rather than replaced existing strengths, building upon established foundation rather than imposing arbitrary change. The division's evolution reflects collective achievement rather than individual direction. Sophia responded, acknowledging the collaborative nature of the transformation they had accomplished together. Your operational expertise proved essential in implementing theoretical approach within practical parameters. The integrated methodology succeeded because it combined strategic vision with tactical reality. As they moved toward the main briefing room where Pentagon observers awaited formal presentation, Sophia reflected briefly on the journey that had begun 12 weeks earlier with public humiliation in the command center. The confrontation designed to diminish her had instead revealed precisely why the transformation she had been tasked with implementing was necessary, demonstrating command culture that prioritized rigid hierarchy over adaptive capability, personal authority over operational effectiveness. Now that culture had evolved into balanced integration that maintained disciplined excellence while enabling responsive adaptation essential for modern operational environments. The 7th Tactical Division had established new performance standard during Operation Cerberus Gate, demonstrating effectiveness that would influence military command philosophy across multiple divisions moving forward. As they entered the briefing room, General Blackwood approached with unmistakable approval in his expression. The Joint Chiefs have reviewed comprehensive performance assessment from Cerberus Gate, he informed them without preamble. The integrated protocol methodology has been authorized for implementation across all tactical divisions, with the 7th designated as training center for transitioning commands. The announcement confirmed what operational results had already demonstrated. The transformation Sophia had implemented represented necessary evolution in military leadership philosophy, preserving essential precision while developing adaptive capability required for modern engagement scenarios. Their success had established new standard that would reshape command approach throughout tactical operations moving forward. The division's performance reflects exceptional capability at all command levels, Sophia acknowledged, attributing success to organizational effectiveness rather than personal achievement. The integrated approach simply enabled capabilities that already existed beneath protocol constraints. Blackwood nodded appreciatively at the modest assessment. The performance metrics tell compelling story, Colonel. Adaptation response improved 42% while maintaining 97% operational precision compared to historical baseline. Those results speak for themselves. As formal briefing began, Sophia presented comprehensive assessment of the integrated methodology's implementation during actual operational deployment. The data visualization displayed on main screen demonstrated conclusively how balanced integration of centralized direction with distributed adaptation authority had eliminated vulnerability windows during parameter shifts while maintaining elite precision standards throughout the engagement. Pentagon observers studied the presentation with growing interest, particularly the comparative analysis showing how traditional methodology would have created critical vulnerabilities during specific operational phases that the integrated approach had navigated successfully. The evidence was compelling not because of theoretical elegance, but because of documented effectiveness under actual field conditions. When formal presentation concluded, questions from Joint Chiefs representatives focused not on whether the integrated approach should be implemented more broadly, but how best to manage transition across multiple divisions with varying operational parameters. The transformation had moved beyond experimental initiative to establish direction based on demonstrated effectiveness rather than philosophical preference. After observers departed to prepare implementation recommendations, Sophia remained in the briefing room with her senior staff, acknowledging their collective achievement with genuine appreciation. The division's performance during Cerberus Gate has established new standard for tactical operations in evolving environments. That achievement reflects capability at every command level, not directive from the top. The recognition embodied leadership philosophy that had guided the transformation from beginning. Focus on organizational effectiveness rather than personal authority. Collaborative engagement rather than hierarchical imposition. Evidence-based assessment rather than procedural adherence. The approach had enabled success precisely because it valued capabilities throughout the organization, rather than concentrating authority at command level. As evening approached and formal proceedings concluded, Sophia walked alone across the parade grounds, observing the divisional activities with quiet satisfaction. The transformation that had begun 12 weeks earlier with public confrontation had culminated in operational validation that would reshape military command philosophy moving forward. The journey from rigid hierarchy to adaptive integration had preserved operational excellence while developing responsive capability essential for modern engagement environments. The humiliation intended to diminish her had instead revealed precisely why evolution was necessary, providing perfect illustration of command culture that prioritized personal authority over mission effectiveness. That culture had transformed through balanced integration of disciplined precision with adaptive response, creating organization better equipped for evolving operational challenges without compromising established strengths. As sunset painted Fort Bridgewater in golden light, Sophia reflected on leadership lesson at the heart of their journey. True authority derives not from intimidation or position, but from enabling capabilities throughout organization to achieve collective excellence. By valuing contribution at every level, encouraging initiative within strategic framework, and measuring success through operational effectiveness rather than procedural compliance, leaders create organizations capable of excellence in stable conditions and adaptation during evolution. The 7th Tactical Division had transformed from excellent tactical executor to adaptive operational force, without compromising precision standards that had established their elite status. That transformation would now extend across multiple divisions, reshaping military command philosophy to better address evolving security challenges in modern operational environments. The journey that began with public humiliation had culminated in organizational transformation that would influence military leadership for years to come. In that sense, General Hargrove's confrontation had unintentionally catalyzed precisely the evolution he had most resisted, demonstrating with perfect clarity why balanced integration of precision and adaptation had become essential for operational effectiveness in modern engagement environments. As night settled over Fort Bridgewater, the division continued its activities with disciplined excellence that remained its hallmark. But beneath that familiar precision now flowed adaptive capability that would enable success in evolving conditions where traditional approach would have created dangerous vulnerabilities. They had transformed while preserving their identity. Evolution rather than replacement, enhancement rather than disruption. In that balanced approach lay the true achievement of their journey, demonstrating that excellence and adaptation could coexist with an integrated methodology that valued both precision and responsiveness. The transformation that had begun with confrontation had concluded with collaboration, creating organization better equipped for future challenges without dismissing strengths developed through years of disciplined excellence. The humiliation had revealed the need. The transformation had provided the solution. The results had validated the approach. Together, they had written new chapter in military leadership philosophy, one that would shape command effectiveness for generations to come. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.